welcome to Flippin Through, the internet's most popular MAD magazine review site. I am here with MAD magazine number 322. It came out in October 1993. The cover price $1.75, and that is indeed cheap. So I picked this issue in direct contrast to the previous issue. I think it was issue 90 that I did last, and that is, aside from like the middle finger cover, probably my number one favorite cover. This is, I feel, one of the worst covers that MAD magazine ever put out. If you have ideas of a challenge to this, the winner of the worst MAD cover of all time, please let me know. Leave a comment, leave a like, and subscribe. At this point, I may as well say, go ahead and share this video. I would very much appreciate it. I think some of you guys did last time because I got some new subscribers out of it and some new comments too. So I really do appreciate that. If you find a cover, if you want to find a cover to challenge my worst cover from MAD magazine, you can always check this website right here, Doug Guilford's MAD cover site. Super awesome resource. It's fun. This is one of like the great ones just to like browse around on. If you love MAD magazine, you can easily spend an afternoon just like cruising through this website. So anyway, back to this issue. We have Prince Charles, Dan Quayle, and David Letterman. David Letterman, it seems like he was a favorite to put on the cover of this magazine. I don't know how many times. He might be challenging Donald Trump for most appearances on MAD magazine. Here we have one of these Alfred E. Neuman lookalikes will win a free subscription to MAD. You pick the unlucky winner. Vote today. For details, see page 48. If I were in charge, if I were to design this, I would do just one large box with a big question mark on it. Or maybe 3 with a question mark. I would not have this big block of text. Of course, I'm going to have Alfred E. Neuman not on it though, because he has to be on every issue. Here, let's get a little further away so I can get the whole thing in there. Anyway, so let's go inside. We have an ad for the the summer special, or super special. They both came out in the summertime. I think I remember reading this one. I don't think I bought it though. I know it's not in my collection right now. This one was probably one that I got on a road trip or something. So MAD 322, we have Batman, the anemic series. MAD's reasons not to visit Disney World this year. It's a shorter list for reasons not to visit this year in 2020. Spy versus Spy. And here we go. This one I'm going to spend some time on: personality traits and genetics. Anyway, let's just hop right into it. Huge ad. I mean, it must have been a slow letter week. Like, this is a massive ad, probably larger than it deserves to be. We have an ad for the paperback books put out by Warner now. And this, the debut of the 2-question interview. We are pleased to kick off a new MAD feature, the 2-question interview. Our first interviewee is Mayim Bialik, the lovely and talented star of NBC's top-rated sitcom Blossom. The goal of MAD's 2-question interview is to prove that, unlike other publications, we don't need to ask 50 or 20 or even 3 questions to present comprehensive, in-depth profiles of today's most popular and exciting personalities. Question 1. Have you ever participated in a 2-question interview? Mayim? No, I've never had the pleasure. Question 2. Now that it's over, how do you think it went? I think the first question kind of threw me off, but with the second one, I felt more comfortable. We thank Miss Bialik for giving her time to take part the 2-question interview. Now, this is pretty cool. You might notice she is holding an old Mad magazine, issue number 24, which I believe that's the first magazine issue, isn't it? I know somebody will correct me. In fact, I could probably find out really quickly since I have the cover site up. So maybe I can pretend to be slightly more informed. Let's see. I don't know. It doesn't say. But I'm pretty sure it is. Well, here, I could go back to 23, couldn't I? Yes. All right. So, look at that. So, Mad 23, it still had that, the comic format. And then 24, the one she's holding, is the first issue. Yeah, look, it says that right there. First issue, the new Mad. Humor in a jugular vein. This new magazine is vital for you to read, and inside you will find an extremely important message from the editors. Anyway, so I thought that was pretty cool. For having the worst cover of all time, this is a really good issue. So don't judge a book by its cover. Sam Viviano and Dick DiBartolo writing the spoof of Batman the Animated Series, and I mean, this was really, so I was a huge fan of this show when I was growing up. This was my jam. I love it. There's like a huge nostalgia factor when I read this, not only because this is a Mad magazine I read when I was a kid, but this was a cartoon that I really, really loved watching. So I'm not going to read through this. Because it takes forever. But I love the illustration. They do such a good job of, this doesn't even look like it's mocking the Joker in that show. That just looks like the Joker. Jim Gordon looks exactly like he did in the series. Bullock does too. I think the only one that looks kind of goofy is Batman. But it is, yeah, I just love this. I think maybe there was, it's a cartoon. Perhaps as illustrators and creative writers, they had some respect for the craft. I like to think that anyway, but who knows? Paul Dini was the writer and chief character designer on this show, and he did a fantastic job, because this is, for a lot of people, that's their Batman, is the animated series Batman. No offense, Adam West. Adam West has the last word in this. All right, I gotta focus on. I did not notice this. Ribbon, look. Whoever or whatever has been rubbing out the others is now rubbing me out. I'm kind of reading that like Adam West, even though it is not Adam West. Do you have... is that not focused on that? Hey, do you have any idea who it is? No, do you? Better answer me quick, Ribbon, before he erases my ears and I won't be able to hear you. Nuts, there they go. I, Adam West, erased Batsman. Enough is enough. I was the greatest TV Batman for years. But when they made 2 Batsman movies, who did they call? Me? No, that creep Michael Keaton. Now they have this moronic cartoon show. Again, did they call me to do Batsman voice? No. And what about my old pal, Burt Ward, the greatest Ribbon ever? Sure, he's 57 now and he's put on a few pounds, but he's a spry 57 and would make a swell goy wonder. With this Batsman gone, maybe my Bat's phone will start to ring. Ring at last. That is very amusing. Look at that. He was a cool looking Batman. People got to show more respect. Just reasons not to visit Disney World this year, really any year. This is pretty good. Tom Bunk, his wonderful just detailed illustrations with. It's like a Where's Waldo. You can just keep looking at it. But it's just sort of, I have to say, it's a retread joke about, being around too many people. The frustrated environmentalist. The frustrated environmentalist plants trees to increase oxygen levels in the air. Too bad that, to keep insects from eating the trees, he has to soak them with powerful pesticides that destroy the air. The frustrated environmentalist saves all his empty aluminum cans so he can take them to the nearest recycling center. The downside is, by driving the 5 miles to the recycling center, he's poisoning the air with more noxious auto exhaust. This is, I mean, it reminds me of, I guess, like now, the talk about electric vehicles. And, you know, people here seem to forget that all of those, like, heavy metals and stuff have to come from somewhere. And, you know, the mining to get all those isn't the most environmentally friendly or the most humane for the people who are in those mines. But, you know, that's for another channel to talk about. Spy versus Spy, the tourist. This one, I'm glad that I came across because in the previous episode, I talked about how Spy versus Spy kind of lost the simplicity of the murders that happen. And this is a perfect example. It's so the white spy is going to visit black spy land, which, all right, just the pretense for this is preposterous. Why would he go through the black spy land airport? All right, that doesn't. And then he goes through customs. I don't know. That seems fishy just from the get-go. So he goes through and he's being watched by a camera. He gets stopped. His bags get gone through. Everything's removed. He's given damaged bags. He goes through a scanner that touches him and pats him and scans him. He gets, and it keeps going. Then now he's in shambles. He moves onto an X-ray. He gets zapped with dangerously high levels. He goes to a security station, the security dog station, and he gets mauled by dogs. Then he keeps going. He just wants to give his passport stamp. It stamps him with a BS shoe. Is that British Knights? Is that like making fun of British Knights shoes? I don't know. Oh, but it's a rejection, and he gets kicked off. He goes into his helicopter. Look, he has that little family circus, you know, Billy, the trail that he leads. That's what he's just a shell of himself. And then his helicopter boots him into the ceiling, down to the ground. He bounces back up, hits the ceiling, and then he goes into a pot. What? That's it? I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. It's a bit much. Here we go. A throwback to all the dating shows. Rick Tolka. Like, who else would draw this? I imagine, like, if you were still doing, like, if they were still going. What was the last work he did for Mad Magazine? That's my question. Because I think about, like, American Idol. He would probably be a great artist for American Idol. Like, just imagine, like, this style for that, who's that British guy? Or even, like, I guess that's, American Idol isn't even on the air anymore. Like, The Voice, how about? You know, that would be, like, those, like, the artists that are spinning around in chairs. That'd be awesome for that. Anyway, here we have, which is more satisfying? It's like a would you rather. Finishing the New York City Marathon or finishing a pizza and some soda while you watch someone else finish the New York City Marathon. Well, that one, obviously. Successfully programming your VCR or throwing it off your roof when you're unsuccessful. It's programming it. It's finally coming home, and you know, I remember the first thing I tried to record were cartoons when my family we went to Mass, and I tried to record a cartoon, and it worked. Obviously, that's the most successful one, or not more satisfying one. Why would you even ask that? What is more satisfying? Not getting caught by the police speed trap because you slowed down in time, or not getting caught because the guy cruising at warp speed in his Porsche was snagged first. Oh, I know it's that feeling, I guess. Let's go. We'll move on. Here we have some Paul Peter Porges. I feel like that's a nom de plume. Regional celebrations you rarely hear about. Philadelphia Lawyers' Day Parade. Malpractice, divorce, real estate, tort. Fog Worshippers Annual Picnic in San Francisco, California. In Buffalo, the Wind Chill Factor Night. I'm always looking for ones in like the Midwest. Those are the ones I care about. So this is, I love this, because this was, I mean, the Chinese restaurant that I went to as a kid had, I mean, this exact menu. This is exactly what I looked at. It was called Kwan's on Penn Avenue, and it was, their menu growing up was basically this menu. 50 pounds white rice with every order. Free can of sodas with orders over $100. I don't know. I always picked it up. I just walked down the street to them. I love this. Is like, I love things like this. This is by the artist George Woodbridge, writers Joe Raiola and Charlie Caddo. I don't know. Anyway, this is like, I love things like this because so much thought goes into it. Like, these are guys you can, I have a feeling they spent a lot of time. There is a Chinese restaurant that this is making fun of. I almost guarantee it. And so you have things like this. Soups, dropped egg soup. Instead of wonton soup, wonton soup. Hot and scalding soup. 10 ingredients water. Sweetened salmonella soup. Chinese fire drill soup. Happy bacteria cup. And it's just all of that. Every single one is just amusing. Desserts. Unfortunate cookies. Sweet fried rollades. Ice cream with garlic sauce. Boneless pudding. And chickened almond ringding. Cashier will change shirt at your request. Sesame Street Chef Special Sesame Street Duck. I just love it. That is like, that's one of my favorites. Those type of gags. Mad look at UFOs. I'll tell you, this is this black background. I love it. I love that. I don't know why, but it's just like the change is so stark. It's just wonderful. So the guy's flying, airline pilots. He sees one, and his friend makes fun of him. And here they are, the poor aliens making fun of one making fun of the other for claiming they saw an airplane. The aliens land. They expect to be greeted by all these nice people. Oh, instead they're greeted by lawyers from ABC, CBS, Fox, and NBC. The lighter side of, I'm gonna probably cruise through these ones because I really want to talk about this one, which is Mad Salute Some Legendary Moms and Dads. When I was a kid reading this, I wish I would have known and appreciated the art that I was seeing. I think I've mentioned, like, Jack Davis is one of my favorite artists in this publication, and I wish I could, I don't know, study his art. I guess I do just by reading this, but I think he's absolutely fantastic, and I wish I would have paid more attention to these like small details that he includes, and when I was reading it. So here you have Igor. There's poor Igor. And guess what? I'm pregnant. Here we have the... what is that guy named? What is... the creature from the Black Lagoon. Here's the little fish in the bowl. And it's a girl with that, just the, look at that, the beautiful bouffant, like her mother. Here we go. I loved this. Jack Davis drawing the spies. And so here's the black spy. White spy in disguise brings it out. He opens it up, and it is a bomb. You have nurse. This one is slightly disturbing. Nurse, I'm expecting the woman that was kidnapped by King Kong 6 months ago. Okay, doctor, how will I know her when she arrives? You'll know. You'll just know. We have just a guy smoking away, chain smoking in the waiting room. Something, the baby flies through the air. Congratulations, Mr. Kent. It's a boy. You got Batman. Look at that. Bat Boy Bat Boy, Weekly World News. That's where he came from. The waiting room. Here's Tarzan. This is a side note. Edgar Rice Burroughs. I just started reading the Barsoom stories. The John Carter, the guy, the American who, Stranger in a Strange Land story. It's awesome. I want to find the Tarzan books because I love the Barsoom books. I want to read more of his stuff. Anyway, he's swinging like Tarzan's kid would. You guys get the gag. But so a tumultuous Trebek tribunal. Motives, clues, verdicts, suspects, and crime. I'll take crime for 200. The answer is July 16th at 4:32 p.m. What day and time did the defendant rob the bank? Crime for 400. The answer is shot the guard. What did the defendant do as he ran out of the bank? Verdicts for 200. The answer is guilty. What is the defendant beyond a reasonable doubt? Right, the bell means it's the end of the trial. The defendant receives 800 years without parole. I thought our legal system protected people from being put in double jeopardy. Wah, wah. A decent proposal. Angelo Torres. Look at the Sister Act. Oh yeah, but he didn't do the Sister Act one in that other issue. He did. What was it? It wasn't Sister Act. I should remember. Personality traits and genetics. This is the one. I talk about this almost every issue because Paul Coker shows up in every single issue. This is where he does his best work when he's constrained. The no mechanical ability gene, characterized by the desire to fix a toaster while it's plugged in with a fork. Common statements. I must be using the wrong kind of hammer for this screw. Or, I can so fit 8 plugs into this outlet. Look at, like right here, this is, I think, a good example of his abilities of creating like a scene in a very confined area or like here in the movie theater. He's creating these scenes within a confined area, but they get lost in the larger scale. Here, look at this, the rat pack gene, or the pack rat gene. It's just like, I can imagine everything that's beyond this. He's done such a fantastic job of setting like the foreground, the midground, and the background, that if it were larger, it would unavoidably get lost, because it's the compact nature that really helps his art style so much more. So that's more of what I want to talk about with this. I love Paul Coker's art. I think he's great. I just don't like those giant spreads that they put him on. Olympic events for the dead. The high bounce. God, I remember this. I absolutely remember this. And I loved it then. The rolling gurney long jump. Just like the more you look at this, the more disturbing it is. The 4-man bob coffin. Bungee boxing. 3-man embalming relay. Oh my goodness. To be or not to be. A soliloquy. Of course, the writer being Frank Jacobs. I want to look up more information on Frank Jacobs. I'm curious because, I mean, he was I wonder, did he work in other fields? Like, why was he so drawn to poems and songs? Did he have two careers? Because I mean, it's just, if there's a song or a poem, it's almost guaranteed it's Frank Jacobs. And then here we go. This is who will be the unlucky winner in MAD's Alfred E. Newman lookalike contest. I thought it was Dan Quayle. It's Ted Koppel, the prince of the late night news, the prince of late night buffoonery, David Letterman, and the Prince of Wales, Prince Charles. Or you could have a write-in candidate. I'm going to check to see if they ever awarded it. It has to be mailed by August 25th. So, okay, that'll narrow down where I have to look, because I bet it would take a little bit for them to sort through them. Anyway, I swear that looks like Dan Quayle. I don't know. I'm an idiot. So here we go. Here we go with another ridiculous MAD fold-in. In every part of the world, people are surrounded by violent acts and even grimmer cases of torture. Sadly, the UN is completely powerless in many instances. Of course, I try to see if I can figure it out just by looking at it. I can't figure this one out. So I'm going to fold this in. Nobody's complained about me folding these in. I never folded the covers in when I was a kid. So this is now that I have bone extras. All right, here we go. Oh, Camp Agony in summer camp. The UN can't help you. This reminds me of who is the guy? I feel like he was it Alan something, but he's saying Camp Granada. He was like the Weird Al before there was the Weird Al. I want to say Alan Lewis. That's not it. Anyway, that reminds me of Camp Granada. They should have made it Camp Granada. I don't know what they were thinking. Anyway, yeah, look at me telling Al Jaffe how to do his job. And then finally, the back cover, rejected Cracker Jack prizes. The one I started off with, have fun faking your own suicide kit. Robert Mapplethorpe tattoo series. Bob Hope third rate guest star iron-ons. Rodney King video flip action book. Headlight starter kit. Losing lottery ticket. Federal deficit pocket counter. Oh, this is so cute. It's oh wait, no, it's in the trillions. Never mind. Hundreds, thousands. Wait, no, hundred thousands, thousands, hundred thousands, millions, billions, trillions. At first I thought it was only in the billions. I was like, that's very quaint. Anyway, hey, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this latest episode of Flippin' Through. Please share it if you enjoyed it, and let me know what is your worst MAD cover that you can conjure. Anyway, thanks for watching. Toodaloo.